Hey everybody, welcome back to the channel. Today I'm here to break down the NASCAR Xfinity Series slate at Richmond on Friday, or September 11th. Man, I keep seeing August in like every video, but September 11th, we have a big race, Richmond, big weekend of Richmond racing. We got Thursday, Friday, Saturday racing, no races on Sunday, so the Xfinity Series race is on Friday, and the Cup Series race is on Saturday, so be sure to check all of this content out. If you're new to this channel, make sure to leave a like, subscribe on the channel, turn on notification bell, leave a comment. If you want to subscribe to my Patreon for only $10 a month, you're going to get a cheat sheet with all the stats you need to know, along with projections, along with a daily article for every single race, salary tier rankings, and a cash score for all three series combined. It's not just one series for $10 a month, it's all three combined. So be sure to check that out. If you want to follow me on social media, I'll put my links in the description below, but it's at DFS Nate Lane on Twitter, at Nate Lane _ on Instagram. I think that's really all I got to say on that, so let's get into the drivers. So Kyle Busch is $17,000 on DraftKings. Starts 29th. So here's the question. Do you play Kyle Busch? Well, yeah, you play Kyle Busch. He hasn't raced at Richmond in the Xfinity Series in the last 2 years, but at short tracks, he has the best average finish, and at flat tracks, he has the best average finish. He also has second best average running position at short tracks, the best average running position at flat tracks. He has 225 laps led at short tracks, 302 laps led at flat tracks. And, I know it's not the most laps led behind, Allgaier, Ross Chastain, tied with Brandon Jones, but he's raced, 20 less races than all of them. Probably more, 30 or 40 less races in the last 2 years than those guys. So, yeah, he's pretty good at these types of tracks. Pretty good everywhere. Look. You got to find value down here if you want to play Kyle Busch. I think there's some decent value, so I don't think it's going to be horribly hard. But, there is some good plays, the other top tier guys, but Kyle Busch is probably going to win this race. Most of the time Kyle Busch wins this race. He's in the best car in the field, too. It's not like he's in a bad car. He's in racing for Joe Gibbs Racing, that number 54 car. Then we saw Hamlin. Probably should have won in last week. It's just, you don't, it's hard to fade Kyle Busch here. These Xfinity Series slates, when you have the Cup guys come down and they're super expensive, I really play lightly. I don't like to play a ton of lines in these types of races, but I think Kyle Busch is still a very good option. He has a ton of place differentials starting 29th, and he's a ton of laps led upside. He wins the race, leads over 100 laps, he's going to score a ton of points. You just have to go for someone like that. I think Kyle Busch is just the way to go. We'll talk about Briscoe, Cindric, Allgaier, Burton, Gragson, Chastain, Haley, these guys who all have good upside, but they don't have the same upside Kyle Busch does. He's not going to lead to early laps, but he's going to be up there eventually. All right, Chase Briscoe starts 5th, 11,500, 9th best average finish at Richmond, 7th best at short tracks, 7th best at flat tracks. When we go to the last 5 races, he has an average finish of 5.6 and 169 laps led. He's been running very, very well recently. He led a ton of laps to Darlington and then wrecked, but he won it to over 2 weeks ago. So Chase Briscoe's looking very, very good. If you're going to go away from Kyle Busch, he's probably a top target to go to. I think these first 3 I'm going to talk about are definitely the main top targets to go to, and then we'll get to Gragson as well. But Cindric, another one, $10,900. He has the second best average finish at Richmond, 5th best at short tracks, 5th best at flat tracks. He has 180 laps led at short tracks and 49 laps led at flat tracks over the last few years. When we go to the last 5 races, he has an average finish of 3.8 and a 221 laps led. He's been absolutely on fire, been the best car in the field over the last few weeks. Him and Briscoe look like it's going to be a 1-2 punch for the championship here. Looks like either one of them is winning it, so I'm really excited to see how that pans out in the playoffs. But I think this is the last race before the playoffs. It might be one more. I don't remember. Austin Cindric, again, another one of these guys, if you're not playing Kyle Busch, is a very good play. And then Justin Allgaier, 10,400, starting 16th. Probably the one that's going to be the most popular. He's the 4th best average finish at Richmond, the 2nd best at short tracks, 3rd best at flat tracks. We all know when we talk about Justin Allgaier, it's short tracks. That's what he's good at. Everyone knows it. He has 216 laps led at Richmond over the last 2 years and 436 at short tracks. It's 200 more than everybody else. So, Allgaier's really good here. He's had a rough year, but even at Bristol earlier this year, he led a ton of laps and was in first place when he got wrecked. So that's tough. Average finish of 12.8 in the last 5 races isn't too great. Only 139 laps led. I say only. That's good. It's the 4th most in the field. So Justin Allgaier looks really good here. I think he's someone who definitely, if someone's going to play spoiler to Kyle Busch, I think he's definitely someone who could. So I definitely like getting some Justin Allgaier if I'm going away from Kyle Busch. Harrison Burton starts 3rd at 10,000. He's okay. He just doesn't offer you the lap sled upside some of these other guys do. He has the 3rd best average finisher at Richmond. He's the 3rd best average finish at short tracks. He's the 2nd best average finish at flat tracks. He's going to finish well. But 0 laps led at Richmond, only 40 at short tracks and 43 at flat tracks, and then only 15 in the last 5 races. So he's just not someone who's going to give you that upside. You need someone to hit that upside at that salary. So Harrison Burton's probably someone I'm going to avoid just because I don't think he can hit that upside, that laps led upside with that starting position. Noah Gragson at 9,800 starting 4th. He won at Bristol earlier this year. He has the best average finish at Richmond, the 4th best average finish at short tracks, and the 4th best average finish at flat tracks. When we go to lap sled, he hasn't led a lap at Richmond, but 62 at short tracks and 28 at flat tracks. And in the last 5 races, he's an average finish of 7 and 162 laps led. So Noah Gragson's been running very, very well. If there's a track he's going to excel at, or that's not true. I mean, he's very good at short tracks. He's pretty much good everywhere, honestly. He just can't always finish up to get the consistent finishes because he's very aggressive. But at $9,800, I think he is someone to target. Ross Chastain's probably another one I really like going to. We've seen Ross Chastain go toe-to-toe with Kyle Busch before. We saw him do it in Charlotte earlier this year in the Xfinity Series, led some laps. That was a great battle. I remember that was a really good race. He didn't come out on top. Kyle Busch still ended up winning, but Ross Chastain had a very good run. He has the 7th best average finish at Richmond, 13th best at short tracks, 11th best at flat tracks. So that doesn't really stand out, but he has 180 laps led at Richmond over the last few years and 290 at short tracks and 327 at flat tracks. So yeah, maybe the finishes at these types of tracks haven't gone well, but he knows how to get around these types of racetracks and knows how to lead laps at Richmond specifically. With 180 in the last 2 years, he's definitely someone I want to target. Starting on the pole could be a definite dominator choice. I don't expect him to win, but I think he should get top 3 or 4, and if he leads 100 laps, yeah, he's going to be needed in your lineup. So if you're pairing Kyle Busch with any of these guys up at the top, I think Ross Chastain's my favorite one to go to. He's probably going to be popular to go to, so then, maybe get off him to Noah Gragson or something. But Ross Chastain is definitely someone I do like going to as a solid option. He's been fast in the past few weeks as well. An average finish of 2.8 in the last 5 races and 72 laps led. So definitely someone I want to target on this slate is Ross Chastain. You go look at Jeb Burton. He starts 28th, $9,300. 8th best average finish at Richmond, 8th best average finish at short tracks, 6th best at flat tracks. He's running that part-time schedule and at number 8 for Junior Motorsports. Average finish of 7 in his last 5 races. Not going to lead any laps, but he does offer you some place differential upside. Probably not someone I'm going to go to here at $9,300. I just like some of the upside to lead laps around him more. If he was a little bit cheaper with the place differential upside, I'd rather go there. But there's some other guys down here that I think are cheaper that offer about the same amount of place differential. Justin Haley, 9,100, starting 10th. He has the 11th best average finish at Richmond, 9th best at short tracks, 10th best at flat tracks. When we go look at his last 5 races, he has an average finish of 8.6, only 10 laps led. Only 3 laps led at short tracks and 23 at flat tracks. He's not really too great at short tracks. This isn't really his style. So probably not someone I'm going to go to too much. Brandon Jones, 8,900, starting 2nd, coming off a win last week at Darlington. 6th best average finish at Richmond, 6th best at short tracks, 8th best at flat tracks. When it comes to lap sled, he actually does have 125 lap sled at Richmond and 225 at short tracks and 236 at steep tracks. He's actually been pretty good at the short tracks overall. Probably a place he excels more, which I think he doesn't even have a win at one of them, which is kind of surprising. But someone who could totally lead laps, I think it's going to be interesting. That's another one. Ross Chastain's going to get all the ownership on the front. Brandon Jones might be the pivot. He's done well here. He's done well at these types of tracks, so I do not hate getting to Brandon Jones at all. I think he's a solid option, solid GPP play that probably not a lot of people are going to play because not a lot of people ever want to play Brandon Jones, to be completely honest. In the last 5 races, he has an average finish of 7 and 10 laps led. We saw him win at Darlington last week, although he shouldn't have. He should have finished 3rd. Hamilton and Chastain wrecking with 2 laps to go gave Brandon Jones the win. So, but he's still a fine option. Definitely someone I think is going to be a lower owned play. Here comes my 2 guys that are going to be place differential guys that I think offer us the same amount of upside as someone like Jeb Burton does. Brett Moffitt starts 20th, $8,600, 15th best average finish at short tracks, 18th best at flat tracks. In the last 5 races, Brett Moffitt has an average finish of 17 and 25 laps led. Probably not the one I really want to go to, but I think someone who's probably not going to get a ton of ownership. Hasn't really shown his speed at the short tracks as much as he has other places, but he did lead a ton of laps at Dover, 25 laps at Dover a few weeks ago. He did start on the pole, but I think he's got some solid upside. And then here's the guy who's probably going to be really chalky, but I think you got to play him regardless. $8,400, Kaz Krala, racing number 21 car for RCR. One of the faster cars in the field. That's the car that Anthony Alfredo's been driving all season long. He has 13th best average finish at Richmond, 11th best at short tracks, and 13th best at flat tracks. When we go, he hasn't ran in the last 5 races, but he's ran a few races this year. We even saw him have a top 10 run at in the Cup Series at the Daytona Road Course, which is pretty impressive. He's a really good road course runner. He runs solid at these types of tracks. He has top 10 upside for you, maybe top 5, but probably not. But so he's definitely someone I want to get some exposure to at $8,400. I think he'll be pretty popular though, but that's okay. I mean, he's safer in that RCR car. He doesn't seem to like get into wrecking trouble a lot. He seems like to be a very clean driver, so definitely someone I want some exposure to. Mike Snyder starting 11th at 8,200 at 98 car. I'm not gonna or 93 car. I'm not gonna go to. His car isn't fast enough to really hit you any upside. Michael Annett 8,000 starting 9th, 13th best average finish at Richmond, 12th best at short tracks, 12th best at flat tracks. Last 5 races, an average finish of 7.6, an average position at 8.6. Definitely someone I'm interested in targeting. I think he's got the upside to finish like in the top 5, and he's not going to be someone anyone plays. So I think he's someone interesting to throw some darts at in tournaments. I'd rather get there to Mike Snyder because I just think he has the upside. I don't really think Mike Snyder has upside starting 11th in that car. Timmy Hill is way too expensive. I mean, like, yeah, he starts 37th, but there's no way I'm paying $1,700 for Timmy Hill. No way. If you're paying that, you're really hoping that guy does something. There's no way I'm ever paying $1,700 for Timmy Hill. Alex LeBay, 7,700 starting 15th, 16th best average finish at Richmond, 21st at short tracks, 19th at flat tracks. Last 5 races, average finish at 20th. Probably not the way I want to go here. I just don't think he has a ton of upside. Same thing with Ryan Sieg at 7,500. I mean, yeah, he can be okay. If we go look at the last 5 races for him, he's got an average finish of 9.5, an average position of 13.25. Like, he's okay, but I think he's going to drop back a little bit. I mean, even if he finishes 6th, it's not huge. I'd rather go to Riley Herbst starting 8th for just a little bit cheaper. Average finish of 6.2 in the last 5 races. He's actually started to show some speed recently. It's been interesting watching him run up towards the front more, so I think Riley Herbst might actually be a solid play. Again, that probably not a lot of people are going to go to, so definitely someone who could be a target for me at $7,400 starting 8th. He can hang around there in the top 10, and maybe even he can compete for a top 5, so if he gets a top 5, he'll probably be very valuable on the slate. Could be someone that you need in your winning lineup, especially like with Kyle Busch. If Kyle Busch is the only guy at the top in the winning lineup, like he's someone to play with Kyle Busch, is Riley Herbst. Jeremy Clements, 7,200, starting 19th, and I think Clements is going to probably get some more ownership as well to pair with Kyle Busch because he's got 10th best average finish at short tracks, 10th best at Richmond, 16th at short tracks, 15th at flat tracks. When we go look at the last 5 races, he has an average finish of 17.4 though, and he just hasn't really looked like extremely fast recently. He started out the season way better than he's been running recently, so probably not someone I'm going to target all that much. Brandon Brown at 7,100. Starts 13th. In his last 5 races, Brandon Brown has an average finish of 15, so I think he can hang around in there. I mean, we've seen him compete for top 10, so I don't hate going there. Joe Graf starts 23rd, average finish of 19.4 in the last 5. I think he's another one that could be solid, but probably not anyone I'm going to target. Vinnie Miller's average finish of 28.6 in the last 5, and I think he starts really far back, like 34th. Yeah, I just don't want to pay that much for that. Jeffrey Earnhardt starts 17th. His average finish in the last 5 is 22. I don't really want to go after that. Kyle Weatherman starting 36. Okay, like I always say, Kyle Weatherman, he's boomer bust. He can have engine problems. And last week I played Kyle Weatherman. He wrecked on lap 1. So that was really unfortunate. It wasn't even like mechanical. She just freaking wrecked. So average finish of 26 in the last 5. We know he has the upside to get inside the top 20. Down here I want to play like for upside possibilities. So I don't hate going there. Bailey Curry's in a car that's terrible, so we don't play him. In the Truck Series, it's different for Bailey Curry. In the Xfinity Series, we don't play him. Mason Massey, $6,100 starting 30th. He actually, we've seen him been able to drive up towards the top 20. I don't hate getting there. I just think he's a little bit too expensive. I was hoping he'd be in like the 5K range this week. He's not. $6,100 seems a little bit too expensive for him. Chad Fincham starting 25th. Has an average finish of, 24.4 in the last 5 races. So I think he's someone who I don't really want to go to. BJ McLeod's average finish of 22.2 in the last 5 races intrigues me because he starts 32nd and only $5,800. Yeah, he's not $4,000 anymore, but I mean, if he gets 22nd, if he gets a top 25, $5,800, that's going to be really key. So definitely someone I want to target down here. Matt Mills, I'm not targeting, starting way too high. Colby Howard, 5,500, starts 18th. His last 5 races, he's an average finish of 24. If he started a little bit farther back, I'd be more interested, but I think he's still even like a little bit okay because if he just hangs around 18th all day, I think he's going to be a fine play. Cody Vanderwall, we know not to play. All right, so right now when Bob Pockrass on Twitter hosted the starting lineup, it has J.J. Yaley in his car, not Joey Gase, but DraftKings says Joey Gase, so be on the lookout for that. I don't really think it makes that much of a difference. It's not a very good car to him, but JJ Yeley does sometimes outdrive the equipment when they're down low. And if JJ Yeley ends up driving this car and he's $5,400, I'll pay for him on this slate. If it's Joey Gase, I don't really want him. Josh Williams at 5,000 starts 12th. Not really interested in him. Jesse Little at 4,900 starts 14th. In his last 5 races, Jesse Little has an average finish of 18.4 and an average position of 17.6. Probably not someone I really want to go to. Tommy Joe Martins, I think, is interesting because starting 21st, he can drive himself up inside the top 20. But I mean, we've seen him do that recently. But 3 of those last 5 races were three races recently were like 2 road courses and a plate race. He's good at the road courses. I always play Tommy Joe Martins at the road courses. But the ovals, not so much. I don't really think I'm really too excited to go there. That's why it's hard to fit in Kyle Busch this week. Like, you got to play some guys that really aren't good. Stephen Light, 4,700. At least he starts in the back, but it's probably not going to be good. And then Dexter Bean starting 27th. This is a tough slate. This is a tough one to play Kyle Busch on. I'm not going to lie. It's a tough one to make some lineups with that, but I think we can figure it out. I hope you guys really enjoyed watching this. Make sure to check out all my other videos. I got NFL stuff out now too and NBA stuff, so be sure to check out that. I'm literally going to go film the Cup video right after this, so I'm going to put up all 3 series today. Thank you guys so much for checking this out. Hope you guys have a great rest of your weekend, and hopefully we make some money.